Hey, welcome to Life Lessons with Lane. I've got a group of college students from the Baptist Collegiate Ministries in Georgia College in Milledgeville. I'm going to be talking with them in just a few moments on living the Christian life, living out your faith on a college campus. And so if you know any college students, be sure and pass this along to them. Once again, we have some college students here from Georgia College in Milledgeville, but they are from all over. But everybody in here actually is from Georgia. So just real quick, I know that we kind of went over this for a sound check, but just real quick, just give us your name and where you're from.
I'm Lucas Fernandez, and I'm from Woodstock, Georgia.
I'm Miller Rubio, and I'm from Loganville, Georgia.
I'm Maggie Dale, and I'm from Buford, Georgia.
I'm Grace Newton, and I'm from Kennesaw, Georgia.
I'm Ashley Kernodle, and I'm from Savannah, Georgia.
Right here, got a homegirl, and then several from the Atlanta area. So, but they all go to Milledgeville. They're all part of the BCM there and Baptist Collegiate Ministries. But they have come here for a mission trip, and that's what they've been here since Friday. They got here Friday, and man, they've been doing all different kinds of work. They did a lot of manual labor right out here behind our church. In fact, if we could open up those windows right there, you can see some of the fruits of their labor. They delivered beds for Sleep in Heavenly Peace. They did some prayer walking and canvassing neighborhoods. What else did y'all? Oh, they went to the parade and passed out waters and invitations to our church. Impromptu trip to the mall, and what I hear, y'all invited people to church from there too.
We did.
That's awesome. And then even more cleanup today. So they've done a lot of different stuff here. Been very, very fruitful in what they've done. Been very useful to our church and to the community as well. So I appreciate them being in here. But I really wanted to be able to talk with them about what it means to follow Jesus on a college campus, because they're really in the midst of that. I get the sense that, I don't know y'all all that well, but I get the sense that it really does matter to everybody who's been at least a part of this mission trip. And so I really wanted to kind of pick their brains on that and hopefully help some of you out that will be watching there. So I got a few questions I want to share with y'all. Y'all have done a lot of different stuff here, a lot of different kinds of things here. So we'll just start off by saying, what's been the best part of the mission trip to you? Best part of the mission trip. And it doesn't have to be something, anything that y'all have done here since you've been here.
I think for me, just doing lots of different service opportunities obviously has been awesome. Just being able to be a part of the kingdom of God, but also doing it alongside fellow believers. Like when we were outside pulling limbs down and the gnats were feasting on my skin.
They were introduced to sand gnats, most of them. I guess I actually knew about sand gnats, but they don't know about. And if you're watching, you don't know about sand gnats. They're basically regular gnats, those annoying gnats with steel teeth. So anyway, go ahead.
But just getting eaten alive and doing hard work, just having fellow believers, just smiling and pushing each other on, like exactly how it's supposed to be in the body of Christ. When I fall, somebody else was there to pick me up. And so I love just growing closer to all these people that I was here with, and just the community and the body of Christ.
Yeah.
I was going to say something very similar of like how we've got to do a variety of so many different kinds of work and so many different outreach things. And like all of us, some of us were closer before this, but I think all of us got a lot closer through using all of these different tasks and just like working alongside each other to, whether it was doing yard work or proclaiming the name of Christ, like all of it just helped us, I think, grow closer to the Lord. And all the devos, we did devos every single morning and night, and that like really brought us together even more, I think, just because everyone had a specific message they wanted to share, and it was all so good. So I think that was definitely my favorite part of it so far.
Very cool. Well, and I'll say this. I was talking with somebody else on your team, and I don't want to call names because they're not in here for a reason. But we were talking, and they told me that it's been like y'all have been an encouragement to this individual because they got to college and they were saved, but when they got around y'all, and I don't know about y'all specifically, but the overall group, they were like, wow, these people are actually living out their faith. That's something that I can do. And so there is just something about being together in this setting that kind of spurs you on in your walk with Jesus. So that's very cool. Has there been any part of Any part of the trip that you didn't quite like so much, and it's okay to be honest, okay? Anything about the trip that you're like,
Talk about where you slept.
About what?
Where you slept on the couch.
Oh, I slept on a couch made for maybe a 5-year-old. My legs were elevated in the air the whole time. My back hurt the whole week.
I wanted you to talk about this because while I was cleaning out our room, I found extra air mattresses in the closet of the room we were sleeping in.
did you really?
I did.
Oh, that is great.
I thought it was really funny.
Oh,
Praise
good.
God.
But he did.
Praise God for the next year.
You got to sleep on an air mattress on the last night, so at least.
If y'all come back next year, we'll save one for you. How about that?
Okay.
Okay.
For you.
All right. Any other parts that y'all just didn't really care for, other than sand nets? I mean, no. Okay.
Awesome.
All right.
So cool.
Okay. Well, so let's kind of take it to school, okay? Because listen, I've been doing the youth thing a long time, as a teenager, and as a youth guy, and as a pastor. So I know what the mountaintop experience is like. You know, you come off on a trip and you get this, a spiritual high, and then you got to go back. You got to go back to real life, right? Real life on campus. So let's just talk about campus for a second. What for you guys? What is as a college student? What has been? And by the way, hold on. How many of y'all are freshmen? You're a freshman. You're the only freshman.
I think so.
What year are y'all then?
We're sophomores.
Oh, the rest of y'all are sophomores. Okay, so I know we have several other freshmen on the team. So what has been the biggest test of your faith on campus? What is it going to college now?
Mine has been at the beginning of the semester, or last semester, I only had like one friend who dropped out this semester, so I came to college with no one, which
Wow.
was really rough.
Yes.
So that really tested my faith. But if I didn't go through that, I know I wouldn't be as close to God as I am now. And it wouldn't have strengthened my relationship to where it's like that I'm okay by myself.
Huh. Very cool. What else? What other things have tested your faith? Like let's say that somebody is watching. I mean, okay, let's just say somebody's watching and they're getting ready to go off to college somewhere. What do they need to be looking out for? What's gonna test them?
I think I would say the biggest thing for me was like for those first couple months when I was first got into college. It was really big to just like go all in on the ministries and stuff, like dive full in. Like there was some nights where I was staying up till 2 a.m. Very fruitful conversations and meeting people, but like everybody's trying to find friends, and everybody a freshman has a similar feeling. And if you just go full in, like I went full in at BCM, and now, man, I'm there way too much. David tries to kick me out. But that would be my biggest advice: is going all in on a what's the word? Preferably a ministry, but a good group of community that can hold you accountable. That everything else just kind of it's easier to resist the downtown and the drinking, the typical college life, when you have people around you not doing it as well.
Is that a big deal? Like specifically in Millersville, that's a big thing?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that something like people try to drag y'all into that? No? Okay. Well, that's good. Well, what about classes and that kind of stuff and teachers? You always hear these horror stories about, they're trying to deconstruct your faith and those kind of things. Is that something that y'all have experienced at all where you are?
I've actually had a pretty positive experience with that.
Okay.
I have a philosophy professor, and she really encourages critical thinking and is not a believer. But
Wait, she's not a believer?
she is not a believer.
But she doesn't mind if you are.
She doesn't mind if we
Okay,
are.
all right.
And so
That's
I
good.
got to do a presentation on an excerpt by Jonathan Haidt called The Righteous Mind, where he tried to argue that, we're all self-righteous hypocrites and our morals come from a moral compass. And I got to go into that paper and agree and disagree on certain parts. But she allowed me to bring my opinion in, where I got to speak biblical truth and verses over the rest of the class and kind of present that to them in a way. And she not only encouraged that, but gave me a great grade on the presentation because I used critical thinking, looking at the paper and saying, I disagree with these points because this is what the Bible says about it. And that was I know a lot of people have had a very negative experience, especially with philosophy classes, but I have a very positive experience, and that's because of her. I won't say her name, but she's done a very good job with the class this semester.
I doubt she's watching, but I'm just kidding. No, that's fine. So you said that other people have had, like, do y'all know of other people who have had worse experiences where class is concerned? Like, how?
I have.
Oh, you have. Okay.
I had I think it was a global challenges class, a critical thinking class, and if your opinion wasn't his, then you weren't right. And it was like always like that. So I had to stay very like neutral in everything, and if I didn't, I wasn't gonna get a good grade. So I just couldn't really ever express an opinion. And I did put that in his reviews, so it might end up changing. But I know that like most of my class was like most of it was people from Awakening, which is another major ministry on campus. So it's like I knew that most of these people like had the same thoughts as me, but like nobody could express it because like they'd get a bad grade, which I know a couple girls who did try to express it and they did get bad grades and they almost failed this class.
Isn't that ironic? The critical thinking class is where you're supposed to be able to think for yourself, and then they don't let you do that. But any other tests or challenges that really put your faith to the test? Anything else that you can think of in college?
I think for me, it's the busyness of college. I think that for me, like coming in freshman year, it was really easy for me to say yes to all the things, and saying yes to ministry stuff is good. But I think even with I rushed and I did sorority stuff my first semester, and I ended up dropping out after a semester. But it was saying yes to everything, and I think I wasn't giving myself enough time with the Lord, but also just with myself, and like enough time to check in on family and stuff. So I think that I gave so much time to everything else that it was kind of like the Lord was on the back burner. And that's changed since then, but I kind of had to learn how to balance my time.
Yeah. Honestly, the same thing happened with me when I was in college. That was a few years ago, but I remember because I was immersed in BSU in BCM. It used to be called BSU, but I remember thinking, as good as this is, I'm allowing a good thing to get in front of the best thing, and that is a challenge, no matter what stage of life you're in. So that could be a problem. So okay, well that's good. I think that would be helpful. So let's look at the other side. Let's look at the positive thing. What has been the biggest since you've gone to college? What has been the biggest boost to your faith?
I was talking about this recently, actually, with some of my friends. Just like with my growing up in a Christian household was such a blessing, but I never really made pursuit of the Lord a priority until I got to college. And I think is because, which we kind of touched on this earlier, but because I was surrounding myself with people who were walking with Christ daily and who were pursuing him with all of their heart and everything in them, that was really what got to me and be like, wow, I have not been doing this my whole life. I have not been pursuing the Lord as a personal relationship with the one who created me and who knows me, who knows everything about me. And so being surrounded by so many people who were constantly pushing me to grow closer to him, and I was watching them grow closer to him, I think that was 100% the thing that boosted me more and more. My freshman year, I never would have, if I hadn't gotten plugged in at BCM and surrounded myself with people who were encouraging me, I never would have gotten to the place where I needed to be my freshman year specifically. But just in general, I'd never grown more in my life than I did when I first got to college because of who I was surrounded with. So
yeah, who you put in your circle matters.
Yeah. And I was going to say the exact same thing. Something that I was told my freshman year is that you become who you surround yourself with. So it's just a reality. If you surround yourself with people who are living in sin and going out every weekend and not following the ways of the Lord, you will end up following in that path if you're not surrounded by believers. And it's similar for me. I found that with BCM, what I put in is what I'll get out. It's kind of what you were talking about the first night we got here. But yeah, and just being surrounded by a community, I feel like it's the same answer, but it's so important to surround yourself with people that know Jesus, and also coming in as a freshman and seeing all the upperclassmen following the Lord and seeking Him daily, like that was a huge deal. Yeah. And I feel like it made it more real to me, and I was like, oh, this actually is this is a way of life. It's not just like my life and then I read my Bible, or my life and I go to church on Sunday. It's like, no, the fullness of life comes from knowing Him, and seeing other people do that, I think, really was a catalyst to my walk with the Lord.
So let me just ask you a personal question, okay? Do you think things do you think you'd be in a different place right now if you had continued down the sorority path? And I'm just thinking about the surrounding yourself thing, because I have no idea what the sorority was like or anything like that.
Yes, I think it would be different. I know I'd still be a believer, because when I came into college, I was strong in my faith. Like it wasn't super surface level, but I think it wouldn't be at the depth that it is now. I think I wouldn't have learned all that I had now, because being in a sorority took up so much of my time, and once I gave that up, then I was able to give so much more time to people, to my ministry, to church, and even just having like alone time, which is such a gift. So, and having time to rest, which I needed. But yeah, I think it would definitely be different. I think I would experience a lot more burnout, and I don't think me and the Lord would be as close, because I think that was something that He wanted me to surrender.
Sure.
Yeah.
Very cool. What else? Any other things that you think really kind of furthered you, deepened you in your faith?
Yeah, I don't want to copy their answers.
But go ahead. That's
but I'm gonna
if it's true, it's true.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the community, but a step farther is that the BCM at Georgia College is super heavy on just discipleship.
Yeah.
And when I got there, it was who's gonna disciple you? Trying pushing to get into discipleship, and that's so biblical, time and time again, about Jesus discipling his disciples, discipling people constantly. And so I've gotten the gift of being discipled by a guy named Josh, and then as well as now I'm a sophomore, and there's people lower than me, so now I have the opportunity to disciple somebody as well. And it's just this fruitful, positive culture of just continuing to disciple people, never not being trying not to be on your own. And people it's beautiful because people will seek it out. People seek out people to disciple and to get discipled, and as well as that, there's a church nearby that also older people are pursuing us and pursuing us with discipleship. And it's just a really beautiful culture, and down in Milledgeville especially, of just discipleship and the heart of it. So I'd say the community, and then taking a step farther into just not just friends, but let's get deeper into discipleship and let's walk through life together. I'd say that's
very cool. I'm going to talk with David about this in just a few moments. But do you think that scenario that you're talking about, being discipled, passing that on to somebody else, is that why the BCM has grown so much in the last few years, you think?
I would say it's definitely contributed to it, that people are naturally drawn to. I think as humans, we have a natural draw to people who are wiser and older than us, and we want to hear from them and learn from them. And people just have a natural draw to wanting to sit under somebody, and if you know more, you've walked through it, why not let me take some advice? And so I would say definitely people have heard of that culture, and they're man, I want to be a part of that. They're different. What's different about them? Let me go find out. So I'd say yes, definitely.
Very cool. Well, I just got two more questions. Why on earth, when you heard about, and I know that your BCM sent out 4 different mission teams. And by the way, I didn't tell you all this. This is their spring break. I mean, they came to spring break to go play in our ditch back here. That's pretty much how it worked, right? So to do all the things that y'all have been doing. What on earth made you want to give up more than half of your spring break for you to be able to do this?
I used to work at a place called Woodlands Camp, and that's where I really grew so much in my faith. I worked there for about 15 months in a row. And something I learned there is leveraging your time and your talents for anything but the kingdom is not necessarily time wasted, but it could be spent furthering the kingdom.
Sure.
And so when I had an opportunity to use my time and talents, given that I didn't have anything else going on for spring break, I thought, why not? Why not go somewhere and just spread the name of the one who saved me and use that to further his kingdom, whether it be clearing out a ditch or telling people about Jesus. Like that's all furthering the kingdom. I think that's a very simple answer.
Cool.
I think in my mind it's that our lives are not our own. Like we were bought with a high price of the blood of Christ. Like my time is a gift from God. And I think something like even college has taught me is like the way I use my time matters, and like every breath, like he sustains my every breath. So why would I not give that right back to him? And I think like it's spring break, like in my mind, it's like I don't have school. I could go home, but I don't have school, I don't have classes, I don't really have to study that much. So why would I not give my time to go proclaim the gospel? Like kind of like Lucas was saying, was like he saved me, so I wanna spread his name, and give my time to him. But yeah.
Very cool. Anybody else? Okay, last question. How are you going to spend the rest of your spring break? Y'all only have what, like, I guess 4 full days if you count the weekend,
Go
right?
pet my dog.
Go pet your
Me
dog?
too.
Okay.
I'll be back here again.
You're going to what?
I'm
Oh.
back here again.
There you go.
But I am going to the Josiah Queen concert though.
Ooh,
Hey,
those concerts
fun.
are so fun.
Yes.
Who's-
I'm going on
That's awesome.
Saturday, I think.
Popular Christian artist.
Yeah.
Josiah Queen.
Super good.
Where's he going to be?
To be honest with you, I don't really remember. It's
Oh,
somewhere in
you
North
just-
Georgia.
Oh, okay. I got you.
That's all I know. Somewhere like nearest to Atlanta, I think.
Okay.
I'll be working.
You just want to sleep in a bed, I guess. So.
Yeah. Yeah, my bed sounds really nice.
Oh,
Or the carpet beside my bed.
home bed.
Sometimes I'll just put my pillow on the floor and sleep on like a night's sleep on the carpet. I love it.
I haven't seen my mom and my sister since leaving for college this semester again. So I'm excited to just see my
very
mom
good.
and sister.
Yeah.
My dad is out of town, so I won't see him, but I get to hang out with my mom. I miss
Okay.
my mom.
I think I'm gonna go home. My older sister she's planning a wedding, so I'm helping her plan that.
Oh, fun.
For a
Okay.
little bit.
Exciting.
All right, well, good. Well, y'all, thank y'all for your time.
Thank
And I'm going to tell y'all the same thing I told my church. And I'll tell y'all, thank y'all, not just for what y'all did, but for the whole group. And obviously, y'all did a lot of different kinds of work. I mean, manual labor, spiritual labor, felt needs. I mean, all of it. But for me, the biggest thing was the spirit with which y'all did it. And they were willing. If there was complaints, I never heard a single complaint. Surely there was a complaint somewhere along the way. I just never saw it, heard it, and never saw it on their face, any of that kind of stuff. So I appreciate the spirit in which y'all did what you did. So thank y'all for your time. Y'all are getting ready to get out of here. I'm sure that y'all are ready to go to the next thing, but I appreciate y'all taking the time to be with me. So
Thank you.
now I'm going to get David, and I'm going to put David in the hot seat.
Oh,
So,
no.
anyway. All right, appreciate it. Thank y'all for your time.
Thank you.
All right, now that we've I was about to say introduced, now that we have grilled some college students on following Jesus on the college campus, I now have as my guest David Kirkland. David is the campus minister of the Baptist Collegiate Ministries, which is what those students were from earlier, and this is the guy who kind of leads them all. And so just want to introduce you to David. David's a good friend of mine. We've been friends for, over 30 years, because you were my wedding, and so I've been married for almost 31, so it's been a while.
Yeah.
But anyway, so it's certainly an honor to have David down here. And so David, tell us a little bit about you, because I doubt anybody who's watching right now is familiar with you. Tell us, I don't know, where you're from.
Yeah, well, I grew up in Chickamauga, Georgia, which is up in the northwest corner of Georgia, small town.
Famous Civil War scene, right?
That's right,
There you
famous
go.
Civil War battle. So that's good that you know that. Got a great park there, and but I grew up there. Me and my wife both grew up there, actually. And from there, I went to high school, went off to college at North Georgia College. And I was already a Christian, already a believer when I went off to college. But no one had really ever discipled me or taken me under their wing to taught me how to grow in my faith and walk with the Lord. And it wasn't until I walked on a college campus and a campus minister, was there. And in the wisdom of the Georgia Baptist, having a campus minister on the campus there was great for me, because he snatched me up and just began to teach me how to walk with the Lord, and gave me my first opportunity to do a mission trip, and challenged me to share my faith, and gave me opportunity to lead, and I just flourished there. I was hungry for that, and it was an awesome opportunity to grow spiritually.
So when you went to school, did you already know that you wanted to go into ministry?
No, not at all. I think I was thinking about FBI.
Were you really?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I never knew that.
I was, criminal justice major.
Maybe we weren't that great of friends, because I didn't know that.
But yeah, I was thinking about that. I changed multiple times. So I took my first criminal justice class, and I was like, I don't want to do that. So I changed to psychology. I didn't even know what I was thinking about. Just began to walk down that road. It wasn't until really my junior year I really felt the Lord, kind of, spurring me to, ministry and thinking about that. So I sat down with my campus minister and said, do I need to quit here and go to a Bible college or something? What do I do? I feel the Lord maybe calling me to ministry. And that's when he said, well, I got my major in marketing, and then I went on to seminary. So why don't you just do that? And I thought, okay. So I got my degree in business and marketing, actually, and then went to seminary after that. So that's where I met you.
And that's where we met, was in
Yeah.
seminary, and had a few classes together. I actually had them all together. Everybody had them all together, and that's the way it worked there. So tell us about your journey through. You became how did you choose campus ministry out of all that? Was that an
Yeah.
immediate thing?
No,
or-
I had no idea. In fact, when I went to church when I was younger, I didn't even have a youth group or anything. It was a very
Really?
small Baptist church that I went to, my grandfather's church. I was probably the only teenager, maybe there was a couple others. And so I really didn't know even what that looked like, but I knew I felt the Lord call me to ministry. And so I just began to walk down the seminary process. But I always felt like I wanted to give back, to college ministry, because it meant so much to me, and somebody was there for me in a critical moment in my life, and really just, I think, helped me grow spiritually. But when I graduated from college and started seminary, actually I applied and interviewed for a campus ministry position at Dalton State and didn't get it. And I was like, I was kind of bummed out. So I started, working a secular job, thinking, what's next? I'll just do seminary and see what happens. And one of the guys that interviewed us, a pastor of First Baptist Church Chickamauga, he was on the interview committee. He called me up, and he was the one that let me know that, we didn't choose you, but I'd like for you to be my youth minister. At my church, I'm looking for a youth minister, and so
That's why he wanted you for himself. That's what it was.
maybe, I don't know. And so I got my start really in ministry as a youth minister at First Baptist Church in Chickamauga, Georgia, and I didn't know anything. I didn't know what I was doing at all. But he was a former youth minister, so he helped and trained and guided me along, and I did that for a couple of years as I was doing seminary.
Yeah. So how long you been at Georgia College?
15 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So and I've been doing campus ministry for 30 years with the Georgia Baptist Mission Board.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was in North Georgia for about 7 years, and then Truett McConnell for a few years, and then Georgia College.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we've talked a little bit, especially the last few days, about just the growth that you have seen in the college ministry where you are. Just, I guess, tell us a little bit about that, like where you were and now where things are now. 5 years ago, I think was the last time. I don't know when the last time I was there. 4 years ago, maybe.
Yeah.
To now, there's just been an explosion. How did that come about?
Yeah. I don't know, really. It has been, significant growth over the past few years, and it hasn't been just at Georgia College. This really has been, around the state and really around the nation. As we've talked to campus ministers in other states as well, there seems to be a genuine draw to spiritual things among college students, and so generally the numbers are up, everywhere, and lots of students are interested in spiritual things and interested in having those conversations.
Now, is that true with just the BCM, or have you seen that in other college ministries as well?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't interviewed those folks and from other ministries, but the campus ministers from BCMs around the state
Yeah.
and around the nation have said that their campuses are in other ministries are getting larger as well. So I just think there's a genuine, revival, in a sense.
That was what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
As you use that word.
Well, when a revival takes place, years ago, when you look back and say that revival happened, it usually happens over a course of 30 years. There's an uptick of thousands of people come to Christ, and so people may not have known they were in it when they were in it.
Right. Yeah. I hear you.
And so I think there's a sense in which I don't know if it's revival. And I hesitate to say that word when I look back and see the thousands that and the great things that happened in the past. But I think there's a genuine revival-ish kind of thing happening among college students, especially because there's a bigger interest and the numbers are swelling and students are leaning into spiritual things. So it's a great time to do college ministry.
So y'all have worship services every week. About how many people, how many students are coming to your worship services every week?
We average
Tuesday night, right? I mean,
Yeah,
it's not like they're competing against church. Okay, that's not happening.
Yeah.
In fact, they're trying to support churches. But so.
Yeah.
Your Tuesday night?
That's right. Yeah, we say consistently, we are not a church. We don't want to be your church. We're just a ministry on the campus that they're trying to help you grow and help students and really churches reach college campuses, and so multiple churches partner with us and help in every location around Georgia. The BCM exists because the local churches making it happen. And but what was your question?
Like how many students do you have worshiping?
So for us, on an average Tuesday, about 250 college students.
That's
And
crazy.
So, usually in the fall, it's a little more. It was a little more than that in the fall and last fall. Probably just a little more than that in the beginning. So maybe close to 300, and then as the year goes along, it maybe ticks down. We probably have 230, 240 the last Tuesday before spring break. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot of kids. Now,
Yeah.
So when I was talking with the students a few minutes ago, one of them was talking about the discipleship process that takes place specifically through the BCM, and his main point was how when he got there was somebody who discipled him, and now that he's a sophomore, he's looking for people to disciple and all that.
Yeah.
How much do you think that plays into the growth that you've seen
Yeah.
at BCM?
Yeah. That's
Well,
That's
first
the
of all,
backbone, yeah.
let me back up. Is that something that you push? Is that like something that you talk about quite often?
Yeah.
And then, do you think that has a lot to do with the growth that you've seen?
Yeah. And so, for sure, that's when we think about what we try to accomplish is we're trying to accomplish a culture of people pursuing the Lord. That's what I say multiple times. We're trying to create a culture in of college students that are pursuing the Lord and inviting others into this culture. And so we have worship, mission trips, and and a variety of events and kinds of things, and even outreach on campus. But probably the backbone is the discipleship aspect. I mean, it is where you can't hide. You can come to a large group, come in late, leave early, worship, whatever, and hide. But in a small group, you can't hide, and people know you, and you're asked some questions about your faith, and you're challenged, and you're walking through Scripture. And so there's a sense in which that there's a Thursday night Bible study that we do. Guys and girls are separate, and they break up into smaller groups, and they have Bible study together, and they care for each other. But then, in a sense, there's an organic discipleship that happens really as students begin to pick out one or two that they want to pour into
Right.
some of our leaders. And we challenge our leaders and encourage our leaders and train our leaders to reach a few and disciple them personally and walk with them personally through the faith. And so that's in a nutshell kind of how we do it.
Right. Very cool. Very cool. So, in your position, what do you think are the what are the biggest challenges that you face as a campus minister, one who's leading college students and those kind of things? You've been doing it for a long time. this may not be true 10 years ago even, but what are like today? What are the biggest challenges that you personally face?
Yeah. Well, it's so fun because you're starting new every year, in a
That's
sense.
true.
With, you got a new leadership team, and so it's you repeat a lot of things, and so that's both exciting, but also every year it's you lose the seniors, and so it's just a continual flow of students that come through, and you're like, oh, how are we going to do it without those students?
Yeah.
How are we going to do? They were so awesome. They were so led so well, but the Lord always provides, others, and so you just wish, I wish I could hang on to those for about 10 years. Can you just get another major, fill a few classes, something.
Go get a master's. Come on.
And so I'm always glad when those students that hang around 5 years or whatever. So that's always, that's fun because I know that we're launching them to do, greater things, and the Lord doesn't always have them here. And and I tease students about this. It's kind of like college is like the womb. And you're growing in the womb, but you can't stay here. You got to stay here.
It's not natural.
That's right. Yeah. And mother college is having birthing pains, and you've got to launch out. And I've teased them about that, but I think that that's the exciting thing, seeing them launch out and.
You hear back from students often?
Sure,
about where they're going?
and not as many as I would like to,
Sure.
but we do keep up and try to keep up with students that are especially doing ministry and missions and such. Many students go on the mission field and end up in pastorates or doing staff work at a church. So that's always exciting. But and we get to marry a few of the students along the way. So that's always fun because they're right in that stage of life of getting. So that's one of our favorite things to do is really to do premarital counseling and do weddings with them. So. So that's both fun, but that's a challenge as well, and I don't know if I.
So, are there any other, like what are some? What you've already mentioned some. What are some of the biggest joys that you get out of doing this?
Yeah. I mean the grandest joy I get is watching students make lordship decisions. That's just an awesome thing when I see them, for it beginning to click in their lives of. Oh yeah, I need to do something different. I think of one that just a couple of years ago he was had a full ride scholarship baseball player, great guy, loved the Lord, and but he was newer in his faith, and so instead of being really a change agent among the team, it was the culture of the team was drawing him away from his faith, and he was struggling, and he was talking to me about that, and so he came to a point, and he thought, if I'm going to really pursue the Lord, I need to give up.
Oh wow!
Baseball.
Get out.
Which means give up a scholarship.
Crazy.
And so he wrestled with that and finally decided to do it.
Wow.
And so I just get emotional about that, thinking about it because he really had to pray through that. And but he felt like that was the Lord, just drawing him to make that decision, and so those kind of things just really, fire me up, as far as students just having that culture of students pursuing the Lord. In the midst of that, the students begin to realize, I need to make some decisions about my life, and directional decisions about what I need to do.
So when I was talking with the students earlier,
Yeah.
One of them spoke about it, and then the rest of them agreed, and then they all talked about it, about how important it is who you surround yourself with in your faith and all that, and that's really what seemed to make the difference for so many of them.
That's right.
And actually, I guess Sunday I was having a conversation with one of them while we were out canvassing the neighborhood, and she told me that she was already saved when she got on campus, but then she got a part of the BCM, and she looked around. And she saw, wow, people are really, they're like really living for the Lord, in this place here. That's something I need to do. And so it really does make a difference, the culture that you're putting yourself in.
That's right.
And so that's interesting.
Yeah, when the freshmen show up, that's one of the first things I tell them. You become like the people you hang out with, and if you hang out with the wise, you grow wise, but a companion of fools suffers harm. That's the way Proverbs says it. And so, I challenge them. You need to find the culture of people that you want to be like. But if you don't, look around at the people you're hanging out with. That's who you're going to be like in a few years. And so it really does. It makes a difference. I think with all of us, really.
Right.
So,
Oh yeah, you're right. It's not just college students.
Yeah, that's right.
For sure. Well, so David's been here as long as those students have. David wants to go home too. So let me just give you one more question. For folks who are watching, of course we addressed, if anybody's watching who's going to college, we addressed them earlier with students. But for those, maybe college is something that's in the past, but they want to make a difference in the lives of college students. What is something how can they impact the lives of college students or college ministries like the BCM?
Yeah, I appreciate that question. That's good. Just knowing that oftentimes when a college student goes off to college is the first time they really begin to make their faith their own. And because they've always had, even, especially the ones that have gone to church and they're with their mom and dad and brothers and sisters and such, but when they go off to college, all of a sudden they're thinking, is this really mine? Am I really going to do this for me? And I just have so many conversations along that line about, and students, some students that are involved in church and they come to college and they're like, I'm ditching it, and then, but some, will, lean into it and say, I think I will. But there's a critical decision point when they go off to college. And so I think that, the church, could do well if you have college students going off. Don't forget, that your college students is off at college. That there is a critical moment, for them.
It's a battle that's taking place.
Yeah,
honestly.
that's right. Yeah, it's a spiritual battle, and so do all you can to send them care packages. Call them, remind them that you're thinking about them, praying for them, because it is I think it's a spiritual battle happening at that moment, and we would do well to remember that. And also just preparing students for high school seniors that are about to go off to college, and because they will be challenged in their faith right away from professors or other students will challenge them. Why do you believe the Bible? And if they're not prepared to answer that question, it can rock them, rock their faith a little bit. How do you know God exists? And I think doing a little preparation, if the youth minister, the church could do a little preparation for college students like that, that could be a big help, to them. Just to even know that there are answers, even if they don't know that all the answers, that there are answers to those questions that we have, and that are true. So that can be helpful. But I think that if there's a BCM, a college near you, and if there's
we do have one.
Yeah.
At the old Armstrong.
Yeah.
So.
And how can you support the BCM? I think that we welcome as a campus minister. I welcome church help because we're not a church, and students don't get everything they need from a college ministry, and we want them to connect to churches. And so if a church can provide, snacks or a meal, or just, hey, we've got people that are willing to, adopt, students, and have them over for a home cooked meal in our home for, once a month or something. I think that can be a big help to them. And because they don't often, they're off on the dorm and they often don't get to come in homes. They love to come in homes. It's just something about having a student in your home. They love that. And so it can be a great ministry, and people that do it are blessed oftentimes by it because students are so energetic and fun. So
yeah, I love that age, man. They're just honest. They're just who they are, and so it's refreshing. But anyway, I appreciate your time. Appreciate you bringing your team here to do all that they did among us, and thank you all for joining with us. Next week we're going to have somebody from the Wycliffe Foundation. If you're not sure what that is, then I want you to Google that and look at that, and we're going to be talking with the Marlows, and so it's going to be a great week next week too. Appreciate your time. Thanks for joining in with us, David. Thank you, and thank you for your team. We'll see y'all later.
Thanks.